Hello and welcome to episode 500 of the podcast devoted to the classic and sometimes not so classic genre cinema of yesteryear. It is your home for classic monsters, modern talk here on Monster Kid Radio. What's up, everybody? I'm your writer, host, producer, Derek M. Cook. I'd like to welcome you to this bumper episode, 500 episodes of the podcast that I'm only able to do because of you. I thrive off of your energy. I am here because you guys and gals have helped support the show, whether you download it, you share the post, you tweet about it, you tell people about it, you write about it, you nominate it, whatever it is you do, you make it possible for me to feel like I can just keep on going. I'm excited for this week's episode for a couple of different reasons. Of course, we have our regular segments. We have Mark Matzke with his Beta Capsule review, taking a look at another episode of Ultra Q. And Kenny's here with his look at, well, something. And then, ladies and gentlemen, oh boy, we have over half an hour of you guys and gals calling in with your favorite memories, comments, commentary, and maybe even a few gripes about the past 500 episodes of Monster Kid Radio. I've been going through all of them. Most of them are voicemails. We had a few emails come in as well, and I took those emails and the OneNote that I had and fed them to the Monster in the Machine, so it'll read those in the big montage of audio clips that I'm going to be playing here in a little bit. Now, that's not all this episode is. It would be kind of self-serving if all this episode was everybody calling in to tell me how great Monster Kid Radio is. So instead, I'm going to give you something. I'm going to give you something that I've had in the hopper for a very, very long time. The last time that I went to Monster Bash, now obviously this past summer there was no bash, but the year before, we played a whole bunch of the Classic 5, and when I say we, I mean more than 1 through 3. There were over 10 of us playing the Classic 5, and it was all recorded on 5 different microphones. So what I've done is my absolute best in taking all of that audio and making it sound as good as I possibly could. Now, for the most part, my audio comes through okay because I was wearing a little lavalier mic, a little microphone you can clip onto your shirt, so I didn't have to worry too much about that. However, the other microphones aren't necessarily designed for omnidirectional recording, so they were being passed around the table. I was riding the volume and gain knobs, trying to make sure everything sounded as good as possible as things were coming in, and then of course in editing I did everything I could as well. It's not going to be perfect, but it's going to be monstrous, and what I mean by that is I think you're going to find in that recording something that is brought up over and over and over again in the call-ins and the write-ins that I got regarding episode 500 and the past 500 episodes of Monster Kid Radio, and that there is a sense of community and fun. You get one monster kid hooking up with another monster kid, you got a conversation. You get more monster kids involved, you get a party going, and it's a fun party where we can all just let our monster flag fly and do what we do, talking about our favorite monster movies, having a good time while we're doing it. It really was a special night. I knew while we were recording it that it was going to be, well, a lot of editing. But you know what? Going back and listening to that while working on this just reminded me of how important you guys and gals are to me. And if I can be a little self-indulgent here, that's really part of the reason why I do Monster Kid Radio. I mean, I love doing it for you guys and gals too, don't get me wrong. But it really fills something inside of me. It really fulfills me in a way that very few projects have fulfilled me over the years. I mentioned this during my, boy, here I am making it about me again, but I mentioned this during my impromptu acceptance speech when I was awarded the Forey Award at the previous year's Monster Bash, that podcasting really is a creative, fulfilling thing for me, and it still is, that I get to talk about my favorite subjects with my favorite people on my podcast. It just makes it that much better. I have so much fun putting the show together, all the late nights working on editing, all the frustration when an SD card doesn't work or I get audio bleed on that microphone or whatever. It's all worth it because you guys and gals make it worth it. I'm going to come back in on the end of the show to tell you a little bit about what's coming up next week, if I have anything lined up for next week. Now, not that I'm not going to do a show, I don't have anything scheduled yet And, of course, we'll go over the basic information, the website, the contact information. We'll talk about all of that at the end of the show as well. So, here's what we've got. We've got Mark Matzke. We've got Kenny. We've got all of your call-ins. And then we're going to go to the massive game of the Classic 5 plus many, many more. And that's all going to pick up right after this.
Hey there, Derek, and hey to all you monster kids out there. Joe Stuber here from Comic Book Central at comicbookcentral.net. I wanted to take a little break here in the lair to send along my congratulations to you, Derek, for 500 episodes of Monster Kid Radio. Man, I can't believe I'm saying it, 500 episodes. That is an incredible achievement. As a fellow podcaster, I know exactly how much work goes into producing just one episode of a podcast, let alone 500. So kudos to you, good sir, for pulling that off and for keeping us entertained all these years. I have had a blast joining you over the episodes for a look back at the scary good laughs in the Abbott and Costello monster movies. Oh my goodness, those were so much fun. Doing a deep dive with Superman and the Mole Men, and partying like it's 1967 with Mad Monster Party.
Well, I leave you now in the capable hands of little Tibia and the Fibia.
There's no mommy! There's no mommy!
And of course, meeting up with you a while back at Monster Bash. I hope things get back to normal soon. I hope we get through COVID-19 soon so we can get back to conventions and meeting up with everybody and hopefully joining forces in person again soon. That was fun. On that topic, since we haven't all been able to get together in person, since we've been all sheltering in place, hunkering down in our lairs, our fortresses of solitude, our nerd caves, our monster laboratories, wherever we're at, I want to take this time to thank you for keeping us entertained this year with the Monster Kid Movie Club, the movie marathons on Twitch. My goodness, what a delightful diversion that has given us. It's given us also a chance to get together virtually, even though we can't get together in person. When I've been able to take a break from producing my show, I have had a chance to jump in on several of those weekends. I'm telling you what, I really enjoy the films. What a wide variety, too. Those are amazing. I love commenting along with the other Monster Kids. A great mixed bag of films. Sometimes the films are treated with reverence. Other films, well, let's just say it's fun to riff along with the group to those films. So thank you for bringing those events to us. Looks like we're going to be in COVID world for a little while, so I think we're going to need events like this just to keep us all sane and entertained. So I thank you for bringing those to us. We're going to need more of these. So to quote the late, great Leslie Nielsen,
good luck. We're all counting on you.
So congrats on 500 episodes. Looking forward to 500 more. And I hope to be joining you and Scott Morris soon for some monster musings. So looking forward to that. Keep on keeping on, brother. All the best.
Hey, Derek. It's Rigor here from Then Is Now podcast and The East Meets the West. I just wanted to send you a congratulations on your 500th episode. 500, man. Wow, that's like 3,500 in dog years. I just wanted to thank you, not only for your years of podcasting and entertaining me, but also for your personal support that you've given to me in my shows. You're definitely one of my inspirations and one of the reasons that I do podcasts now, and for that, I shall be eternally grateful. So here's to another 500 episodes of Monster Kid Radio. Keep up the great work.
All the monster kids, they know about their favorite podcast show. Now there's 500 shows of MKR. 500 shows, 500 shows, 500 shows, 500 shows. Now there's 500 shows of MKR.
Congrats on 500 episodes. I truly enjoyed the last episode with Robert Kelly, and I have every intention of getting to Ultraman 80. Take care. Mark.
Derek, it's Anthony Wendell, the writer of The Handbook for Surviving a Giant Monster Attack and Santa Claus Conquers Manos the Hands of Fate. I'm calling in to wish you a happy 500 episodes. Man, that's insane. But you put a lot of work and effort into every episode that you put out. And I know, coming from a very grateful monster kid, frankly, without you, the community wouldn't be what it is. And I want you to take that as a great compliment. You take care, sir, and I want you to have another 500 episodes in the future. Peace.
Hi, Derek. A big congratulations on episode 500. I've been lurking around since the early 300s, and MKR has become an oasis of monster goodness that I look forward to week after week. With a podcast and now the Monster Kid Movie Club, you do more than provide great entertainment. You've created a happy little community where Monster Kid radio heads can freely share their passions, and where Halloween never ends. As I've said before, you're doing Godzilla's work. Stay safe and keep up the great work. Your old Uncle Swampy.
Hey Derek, it's Chris McMillan from the Shadow over Portland, just calling to congratulate you on your 500th episode. Bravo! That's me clapping in the background. Great job, sir. I mean, you've been hitting it every episode as far as I'm concerned. You've got great guests, great topics. I'm sure everyone's saying the same thing, so I'm not going to just keep repeating it. Just, you do such a great job. It's so much fun to listen to. I always love it. I love the additions you're bringing in. Kenny's Famous Monsters of Filmland is so much fun. It's so enjoyable to have you on my earbuds while I'm working in the mornings, listening to people talk about classic and not so classic monster movies. It's wonderful. Speaking of it, as I said, I love the additions you're adding in. The Classic 5, I play along all the time whenever you bring out that deck with your guests. The social distancing Saturdays, oh man, that is so much fun. And I know it's so much work for you, but we really appreciate it. You know, it's so great to get a chance to watch some classic monster movies with friends, and that is one thing I do have to mention. You have brought a whole lot of people together through the podcast. As a listener, interacting on Facebook, have met so many wonderful people. It's so great to talk to them when I can, because we can't get to Monster Bash or anywhere else. It's just like hanging out in someone's living room and just having a great time, and you make it all happen, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much. And I also want to thank you for allowing me to be part of MKR history. I mean, I've been able to be a co-host on a few of your episodes, and it's always fun. I can't tell you how much I love getting together with you and anyone else, like Dominique or Tracey and Steve when we were doing the creature thing. I mean, just getting a chance to talk on the podcast with you about some of the movies that we both love is always a thrill, and I really want to thank you for letting me be part of it. Anyway, I don't want to drag this on too long. I hope to be listening for the next 500 if you go that far, but I'm sure you'll never run out of great classic and not so classic monster movies to talk about. Anyway, this is Chris from Shadow of Portland signing off and saying congratulations on episode 500.
Hey Derek. Congratulations on MKR number 500. It only took 499 episodes to get there. I first discovered MKR after you won your Forey Award at Monster Bash in June 2019. I figured if Ron Adams thought enough of it to give you a Forey, it must be worth checking into. I listened to one episode and was hooked, and have listened every week since then. I've also watched most of your movie marathons as well. Many MKR podcast discussions have compelled me to watch some movies that I knew about but never actually watched, and the marathons have introduced me to some I'd never even heard of, like The Beast from the Beginning of Time and Strangler of the Swamp, as well as the Mimiverse films and those of Ansel Faraj, and a few Joshua Kennedy films I'd never seen, not to mention the Turkish Star Wars. What a hoot that was. I really appreciate all the hard work you put into making these shows so enjoyable and entertaining and informative. They are especially welcome in a year in which a huge void was created by not having our beloved Monster Bash. Again, many congratulations. My comments on your next 500 episodes are written down in the future, but they haven't arrived yet.
Hey Derek, it's Ed Sizemore here from Richmond, Virginia, and I just wanted to congratulate you on 500 episodes of Monster Kid Radio. A few years back, I tried my own hand at podcasting, and so I know how hard it is to come up with weekly content. But not only do you come up with weekly content, but you come up with great content and an enjoyable show that's high quality, that I love to listen to every week. And then on top of that, you do such amazing stuff on Saturdays with the Monster Movie Kid Club. I just love being part of that community, seeing the stuff that you find, and you're an amazing researcher. Those regional films that you found made by Monster Kids, those are just a delight to watch. And when you factor in all the episodes that you did for 1951 Down Place and the episodes that you did for Mail Order Zombie, that's just an amazing commitment to podcasting. If there's ever going to be a Mount Rushmore for Monster Kids, I'm telling you, Derek, your face is going to be up there. And just in addition to all this amazing podcasting and live streaming, you built a community of people who can come and talk about any of the genre cinema that they love, and that's not to be taken lightly. To create a community of people who feel loved and supported by each other as they talk about their favorite hobbies is something that you should be really proud of. And I hope that anytime that you're feeling down or you're wondering what you're putting out in the world, just remember that you're putting this podcast and this community out in the world, and that's a phenomenal thing. Thank you so much. I just can't tell you how much I appreciate everything you do for us.
Hey Derek, this is Scott Pliskin. Congrats on reaching 500 episodes for MKR. I've been listening every week since I discovered the show, thanks to your Rondo win back in the day. And Dracula doesn't need to warn me about spoilers, because I always watch the movies ahead of listening to the episode. And as many monster movies as I've seen before, I can thank this podcast for introducing me to even more. And I've learned a lot from the show, like, I never knew that Lionel Atwell was the star of Devil Doll. The Twitch streams this year have been great. Fun watching the movies while chatting with the Monster Kid universe. A lot of great viewing, even the Monster Kid Extreme movies. So thanks again for the great podcasting. Monster on.
Hi, Derek. This is Jeff of the Underpracticed, Disorganized Acting Company and former MKR contributor of the Weird Wednesday Report. Congratulations on 500 episodes. That's amazing. A pentacentennial is an amount that most podcasters can't even dream of. I can't say that I have a favorite episode of MKR, although being on it to talk about one of my childhood favorites, The Green Slime, was certainly a high point. MKR has certainly broadened my horizons. I'm still a junior Monster Kid. The Classic 5 still intimidates me because so often I still don't even know the subject of the question, much less have an answer. More important is that MKR has brought so many good people into my life that I can now call friends. At the top of that list is you. I'm incredibly glad to have you in my life, and MKR has much to do with our becoming friends. Peace and long life, Derek. Have fun, do good, watch monster movies.
Hey, Derek. Alistair Hughes, author of Infogothic, an unauthorized graphic guide to Hammer Horror, and enormous fan of Monster Kid Radio here, calling from the future. I still don't have those lotto numbers you asked for, but I just had to congratulate you on episode 500. What a gargantuan achievement! MKR is a global phenomenon. An unmissable weekly dose of much-needed shared joy about the monstrous and spooky movie genre, which we all love so much. It's an inescapable fact that when fans with passionate and inevitably opposing views encounter one another, the result can sometimes turn a little toxic. Sadly, the internet is full of these unfortunate interactions. But MKR never, ever stoops to this. Even if the film being discussed is undeserving of praise or opinions about it differ, Derek and guests always present a positive and inclusive viewpoint. MKR never forgets that the topics under discussion are intended as entertainment, not polarizing ideologies. We've certainly had enough of that this year. These movies are meant to make us feel excited, enthusiastic, creatively stimulated, and to distract us from the real world for a little while. But you, Derek, being the incredibly generous, big-hearted man that you are, you don't just leave it there. You allow friends, fellow artists, and guests to use your lovingly crafted show as a platform to highlight their own creative endeavours. You give we monster kids a voice and selflessly promote our own efforts every week. Personally, I will always be eternally grateful to you for the exposure which you gave to Infogothic, and I know that many, many others of us out there owe you a similar debt of gratitude. The highlights of MKR are literally too vast to mention, but from my personal point of view, I've always had the absolute time of my life when you've invited my bizarre accent onto your wonderful show. But recent standouts for me have included your discussion of the film The Maze, a movie which I only ever caught the last half of because my parents overruled me and insisted on watching Michael Caine and Alfie on the other channel. I was hopping mad and almost croaked, but now I finally know what I'd missed all those many years ago, thanks to you. And the Burn Witch Burn / Night of the Eagle episode was also brilliant, evoking happily terrifying memories of watching this one with my mother when I was very small. I always particularly love the scene where Peter Wyngarde accidentally erases the word not from the blackboard as he backs away from a psychic onslaught, leaving the statement, "I believe," as the spiritual attack recedes. Wyngarde, of course, later played Clytus in 1980's Flash Gordon, a wickedly exquisite voice performance, which rightfully goes down in history. And as we've circled back to voice performances, please take a bow, Derek. You are damn good at what you do. The whole world, and even the head of Rondo Hatton knows it. So I fervently hope that you do too. Congratulations, my dear friend, and may your future be bright. And I'm sure it will be, because, after all, I have several hours' foresight in these matters. Long live MKR.
Hey Derek, this is Christopher from over at the Time Shifters podcast and Orphan Entertainment podcast, and I wanted to call and drop a voicemail, hopefully getting in under the wire to congratulate you on your 500th episode. There is just no other way to say it other than wow. I mean, it's an amazing achievement. I can't even begin to tell you how many movies I've discovered through your podcast, and they've all made my life a little richer. Let's be honest, some more than others. Anyway, congratulations, Derek. Here's to 500 more, right?
Hi, Derek. This is Kip Jacob up in Cedar Roy, Washington, a little bit north of you. Maybe a Monster Kid wannabe, I don't know. I really enjoyed the Universal Monsters when I used to watch them on Shock Theater in the early 60s back in Cincinnati, Ohio. And about a year or so ago, I came across your show, and now I look forward to every Wednesday and listening to your podcast. I enjoy all your guests and the conversations you guys have. So I want to thank you for providing that every week. And once in a while I'll drop in on Saturday to watch on Twitch. I get a kick out of that too. I hope to make it down to the H.P. Lovecraft Festival in Portland one of these days, and hopefully maybe see you and buy you a real cup of coffee instead of the ones on your Saturday show. Anyway, thanks for a great show, and I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Hello, Derek. This is Russell, down in Florida, calling to wish you a hearty congratulations on your 500th episode. I just felt that I had to call in to thank you for all the hours of entertainment that you provided to all of us Monster Kids. You know, years ago when I found Monster Kid Radio, it instantly became my favorite. I moved it to the top of my queue, and it still sits there to that day. I remember hearing the first episode that I heard and then going backwards to catch up on it. Your Monster Kid goodness. You know, it takes me back to the days when I was at my grandma's house on Saturdays, and we'd sit together and watch Dr. Paul Bearer's Creature Feature. Those were the days. I feel that every time I hear Monster Kid Radio. You know, Derek, I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you make such a professional sounding podcast every single week. And all the time you must be putting into this to edit, to get the trailers ready, the music ready, all these guests. I don't know how you do it, especially with all the things going on. It's been tough for everybody, but I know that you've been having things going on outside Monster Kid Radio as well. And I just want to thank you for your commitment to continue to bring this awesome radio show. You know, all these extra things that have come on lately as well, like Kenny's Famous Monsters and Mark Matzke's Beta Capsule Ultraman. I love Ultraman. I'm a huge Ultraman fan, so that was a great addition. And of course, Dr. Tongue. Just awesome that they just added to the Monster Kid goodness. You know, not only that, but listening to Monster Kid Radio has also introduced me to a whole bunch of other podcasts from the people that you've had on as guests as well, and I enjoy their shows as well, which is really cool because all the podcasters go on each other's shows, and it's a lot of fun. So I enjoy theirs as well. So I really appreciate that as well, letting me know other podcasts that are out there. You know, you asked to pick a favorite moment from Monster Kid Radio. I don't think I could pick just one because it's just every week is just constantly full of goodness. I don't think I could pick one thing. However, not too long ago, you played a trailer for one of my all-time favorite movies, and I got real excited that maybe there's a chance you might cover it, and that's The Legend of Boggy Creek. Legend of Boggy Creek is one of my absolute all-time favorite movies, and I know it's a little out of the Monster Kid Radio wheelhouse, as you'd say, but I think you make it work. I'd love to hear you talk about it. You know, thank you so much, Derek, for all the years of entertainment. And here's to the next 500 episodes. Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.
Hi, Derek. This is Jim from just outside of San Diego. I just wanted to congratulate you on such a long-running show, and I love what you do. Really appreciate every week you cranking them out there, and I really had a good time when you had me on the show. I would love to do it again. And yeah, so hope everything is good up there. Here's for the kick-ass new year, and keep it up, Derek. Rock on, monster on. Jim more monsters. See ya.
Brother D, this is LG Smith wishing you a happy 500th episode. Yes, I know that's not what you go by anymore, but I remember you back when and count you as a great friend and look forward to the next 500, brother. Peace out.
Hi, Derek. This is Tammy Anschutz. I just wanted to congratulate you on 500 episodes and tell you how much I'm looking forward to at least 500 more. It isn't possible for me to pick a favorite episode, but having David J. Schall on the podcast was amazing. One of the things I enjoyed most is seeking out the books and movies mentioned in the podcast, from old ones that I've forgotten to new ones that I've never heard of. I know how much time and effort you put into the podcast and the movie clubs, and I just want you to know how much it is greatly appreciated. Thank you for everything you do. Take care and stay safe.
Hello, Derek. It's Bill Mize from over at the Bill Watches Movies podcast and the upcoming Monsters by the Minute podcast. And I'm calling in to wish you a happy 500th episode of Monster Kid Radio. It's a bit of a tongue twister. This is truly a milestone in both your life and the show, and I just wanted to say thank you. Thank you for everything that you do for us monster kids, both old and young. Your show has been a constant these many years, and it's always a pleasure to download an episode, sit back and relax and forget about the troubles of the world for a few hours, and instead worry about giant ants, flying saucers, vampires, mad scientists, and prehistoric monsters in a carefully hidden valley in the Southwest. If a rising tide raises all boats, then you and Monster Kid Radio are partially responsible for the success of so many other shows, so many websites, and so many people, myself included. Never think that you don't matter. Never think that your show doesn't matter. What you do is important and loved by thousands of listeners out there. We are all in this together, and I wish you the very best in health and happiness, and I will join you in the journey to episode 1000. Thank you again for everything that you do, Derek. Take care, and I'll talk to you soon.
Hey, Derek. Hey, group. Captain Billy here. I just wanted to congratulate Derek on his 500th episode.
That's 500 more than me, man. I don't know how I discovered the show. If I'm not mistaken, it's probably the B Movie Cast. Although I don't even know how I don't remember how I found the B Movie Cast either. So, but I do know I remember hearing the 150th episode. So I know I started somewhere just before there. And I can remember the good old days when the show was in 2 pieces. And I always wondered why you split the show in half. Each episode ran about 30 or 40 minutes. And I thought, well, why are you making all that extra work for yourself? Just run 1 hour episode. I mean, I don't know why you had to cut it in half. So the one question I want answered before the celebration is over is why these early episodes used to be in 2 pieces. Congratulations, Derek. Here's to another 500.
Greetings, Derek. This is Danny from Mesquite, Texas. I'd like to say congratulations on your forthcoming 500th episode of MKR. Even though I just discovered your wonderful podcast earlier this year, I've become a die-hard fan. I was born in 1959, so I had the wonderful opportunity to grow up during the heyday of Monster Kid fandom. Watching television broadcasts of the Universal Monster films, or recent episodes of Twilight Zone, Outer Limits, Boris Karloff's Thriller, and so on. Going to the drive-in, seeing the latest releases from Hammer, Amicus, the Roger Poe series, and recent kaiju films, which my mom hated. Collecting famous monsters, Super 8mm films, which all led to eventually collecting autographs from so many of my horror heroes. The first being Peter Cushing in '75 through the mail, and meeting such masters as Vincent Price, Christopher Lee, Roddy McDowall, Roger Corman, Burt I. Gordon, Michael Ripper, and so many, many more. Monsters have been very, very good to me. My favorite shows on MKR are those with guest Larry Underwood, a.k.a. Dr. Gangrene. So knowledgeable and so much fun to listen to. So, Derek, here's to the next 500 shows. Long may you and MKR rule. Thank you all. Bye-bye.
Derek M. Cook, Brett M. Stillo. You know, I never really made that M middle initial connection before. But there you go. Anyway, be that as it may, we've got the Indianapolis 500. We've got the Daytona 500. There was Fireball 500 with Frankie Funicello, but that's kind of beside the point. But now, there is the Monster Kid Radio 500. And I just wanted to offer you a heartfelt congratulations. That's an amazing number and an amazing accomplishment. I can't think of anything worthwhile that I've done 500 times, and you've brought us 500 podcasts. I've been going over some of my favorite memories, and you know, I can't say as I have one, because there's been so many great episodes featuring so many great movies and so many great trailers and so many great top fives that it's hard to zero in on one. But one thing I do really appreciate about the show has been meeting or being introduced to so many amazing guests, so many like-minded people, their love of classic horror, fellow monster kids, people who aren't just fans. I mean, you've got authors and podcasters and makers and a lot of great, interesting people with a lot to say. And it's a great reminder that while, you know, we may never see the glory days of Universal Hammer come again, they will never fade either, because thanks to folks like you and your guests and this whole Monster Kid Mafia, Monster Kid Nation, those movies will always remain in our memories. So again, thanks so much. Congratulations. I'm looking forward to Monster Kid Radio 501. Also, good luck to you. All the best to you. I hope to see you at some point soon on a convention floor. That'll be great. That'll happen. All the best to you. Keep on keeping on.
Hi, Derek. It's David Annandale. Congratulations on your 500th episode. I've said before that listening to Monster Kid Radio brings back the same kind of joys as picking up your very first issues of Famous Monsters of Filmland back in the day. And one of those many joys is how much I learn and discover listening to the show. I wind up revisiting and reconsidering virtually every movie that you put in Spotlight, whether that's, to take two recent examples, Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman, or Bride of the Gorilla. But I think the episode that had the greatest impact on me is one I've mentioned to you before, and that's episode 326, when you and Troy Howarth turn the spotlight on Invisible Ghost. Not only did you make me look at that film with fresh eyes, you turned it into one of my favorite movies of the period. I'm obsessed with that film now, thanks to you. So, thank you for that. Thank you for 500 episodes. Thank you for all you do for our wacky community. And here's to the next 500. Cheers, man.
Hey, Derek, this is Cameron, a long-time listener. I think this is like my second time calling, but I just wanted to congratulate you on reaching 500 episodes of Monster Kid Radio. I know you've been asking for your favorite moments. I did a lot of thinking about this of 500 episodes. Like, what are my favorite moments? I knew one of the highlights was your Sword and Sandal month. It turned me on to several great films, especially Goliath Against the Vampires. But I think what really comes down to me of what my favorite moment is the fact that from the very first episode, you're responsible for turning me into a new generation of Monster Kid. A long time ago, a job I had a lot of free time, so they encouraged me to listen to podcasts. So I heard you show up on an episode of the Kaiju Cast, which was one of the only podcasts at the time I was listening to. And hearing your passion about classic monsters made me like, man, I should check his show out. So I did, and after hearing you and several guests talk for several episodes, it got me to buy the Universal box set and basically just become a Monster Kid now. I've seen so many movies now because of your show. Like this very Halloween, I watched several movies that you covered, like Return of the Vampire, The Flesh Eaters, or Night of the Big Heat. And I just wanted to say thank you for all that. The whole world was open to me because of your show, and I think that means a whole lot, and I just wanted to let you know that. Happy 500.
Hey, Monster Kid Radio. This is Ricardo Delgado, author and illustrator of Dracula of Transylvania. Wanted to wish everyone a happy 500th episode. Really love this podcast. It's one of my favorites. I particularly love the 3 favorite episodes, like the 3 favorite 1970s vampires, 3 favorite kaiju without Godzilla and Gamera in there, even though I love Godzilla and Gamera. So, well done, Derek. Keep up the great work. I look forward to hearing more. Take care. Bye-bye.
Hey, Derek. Steve Sullivan here. It is Saturday afternoon, and that means I'm watching MonsterKidMovie.club. Wow. 500 episodes. Calling out because I didn't want to forget to call in. Amazing, and I have so many memories of Monster Kid Radio, probably because I've appeared on Monster Kid Radio so many times that one publisher said, you have to cut out some of these appearances because there are too many. When they were doing a list of podcasts I'd been on. I love Monster Kid Radio, and my favorite thing, aside from talking to you, is learning about new films, learning about the films of people like Ansel Farage, and hearing friends like Christopher Mim and Joshua Kennedy, and new friends, people that I've made acquaintance with through the show, and movies I've learned about through the show, though none of them spring right to mind right now. I also remember back before you started the show, you and I had become friends because of the B-Movie Cast, and I don't remember if we were on the phone or if we were actually doing an interview or how it happened, but somehow you told me that you were going to move from your zombie-oriented podcast, which I listened to, into a new podcast that covered more cool stuff in the monster spectrum, and how excited I was by that and how much I thought that was a great move for you. And I'm still excited by it, and I still think it's a great move for you. So thank you for doing this. Thank you for having a Twitch stream. Thank you for doing 500 episodes of a show that I love. And at some point, I may go back and listen to all 500 of them again. They're fabulous. Keep up the great work. Here's to 500 more, and I'll be on all 500 of them if you want me to be. Steve Sullivan, signing off.
Hey, Derek. It's Taylor Gentry from Counter Hoon's Feature Fright. I just realized you are coming up on your 500th episode. Dude, that is incredible. That is a huge feat in of itself. And, wow, I'm kind of at a loss for words. I mean, I guess, first of all, the most important thing I could say is just congratulations. Well, I know that that's not cursing, but that's definitely improper grammar, so I apologize for that. But I'm so proud of you, because not only have you been able to accomplish that, getting to the 500 episode mark, but you've been able to maintain the same quality and improve upon like an already stellar quality show. You're somebody that I genuinely look up to. I've been listening to Monster Kid Radio for years, and I've always enjoyed the show, and I love what you keep doing with it, and in some ways expanding it. I mean, you're doing a lot of different things outside of the podcast itself by just keeping all of us, the audience, engaged. So I just want to thank you personally for all that you do, keeping the Monster Kid community together and giving us something to enjoy and something to laugh about and something to really think about sometimes. Because I know you bring in a lot of guests in that have a wide range of opinion on different movies, and every guest that's ever been on the show, I feel like has brought something new to the table. And of course, I'm excluding myself from that. I'm not just saying that because I was on the show at any point. I really do mean that. I mean, the rotating guests are just phenomenal, and of course the movies that are talked about are incredible too. So, Derek, congratulations, and just keep up the good work. I'll be tuning in to listen. Thanks.
This is Mark Dr. Tongue Peterson congratulating Derek Cook on 500 episodes of MKR. An amazing accomplishment. You rock.
Hi, Derek. This is Steve Darrell calling, a long-time listener, first-time caller, and I was calling to congratulate you on 500 episodes of MKR. My Monster Kid Radio origin story was coming from Vince and the B-Movie cast, and I think my first episode was episode 200, a good one to join in on, and I don't think I've missed a week since. I have to say my favorite episode in recent memory was the one with you and the Monster Conservancy group talking about the Universal Monsters. It just takes me back to so many discussions with my friends growing up about what we would do if we had our say in making movies, and to hear professionals like you guys talking about it just makes me so happy to hear it. It's just, I love that it's alive and well. I love so much of your show talking about the classic and not so classic movies, all the great surf music, the classic five. They just make it so special. But two things really stand out to me. One, your show is so well made. It really just sets the bar for every other podcast I listen to. Very few people measure up. And the most important thing for me, absolutely the favorite part of it, is the joy and positivity you bring to every episode. You always have something good to say no matter what you're talking about. And your love of these classic movies has been a constant joy for me for all these years, especially this year when I think we've all needed more joy. And I just really wanted to say thank you for that. Here's to another 500 episodes and more. I can't wait to hear them all. Take care.
Howdy, Derek. This is Tom Gerganis from Go Forth and Game and the Giant Hula Monster. Here are some of my favorite Monster Kid Radio memories. My favorite memory has to be No Surprise. It's number 478 when I was your guest. It was an amazing time and a super bunch of fun. And one of the highlights of my year, introducing you to Bride of the Gorilla, was awesome, and I'm glad I was able to do that. Another fantastic memory is the first episode that I listened to. It was episode number 343 on The Woman Eater with my friend Micah Harris. Micah directed me to the episode, and I'm forever grateful to you, Micah, for doing so. Monster Kid Radio has introduced me to so very many movies that I would not have otherwise seen. Highlights are The Vampire Bat, Cave of the Living Dead, Condemned to Live, Manos, and City of the Dead. But one of the best things about Monster Kid Radio is the new friends that I've made. Steve Sullivan, Scott and Tracey, Reber and Kenny, but especially you, Derek. You resurrected my Monster Kid. That makes you, Derek, my Dr. Frankenstein. Thank you so very much for all that you do for us Monster Kids. Happy 500th episode. On to at least another 1,000 more.
Hey, Derek. This is Tracy from the Disney Indiana podcast, and I was calling to wish you a happy 500th anniversary episode. Huge milestone. Congratulations on that. And as far as favorite memories, I have a hard time getting that down. Of course, I've been fortunate enough to be on your show for a couple different episodes. Invisible Woman, Wasp Woman, War of the Worlds, and It Conquered the World, I believe. And but what really gets to me about MKR is the community that you've created, both for the podcast and the Twitch stream at Monster Bash. So that, to me, is proof of your success, that you've found your community, you've helped develop that community, you've nurtured it. The fact that you focus on having guests on your shows, and you do such a good job of making people feel welcome and their opinions being valued. Even if you don't agree with them, you acknowledge that, what points they have, and yeah, you just make them feel like they belong. And that's something that Monster Kids don't always get. So thanks for such a great podcast and creating such a great community. And I wish you many more episodes.
All the Monster Kids, they know about their favorite podcast show. Now there's 500 shows of MKR. 500 shows, 500 shows, 500 shows, 500 shows. Now there's 500 shows of MKR. Hey there, Derek. It's Kevin Slick coming to you here from the Rocky Mountains of Colorado. And congratulations on 500 shows of MKR. That's quite an achievement. And it's quite a great show, and I've enjoyed it very much. I like being on the show, of course. I love the highlight shows you did from Monster Bash, and it's just all good. I'm looking forward to the next 500 and seeing you sometime soon. Bravo. Congratulations. Excelsior. Thanks a lot.
Just introduced Carlin to this a couple of weeks ago, so I'm going to go with the Monster Squad. Yeah, she loved it.
I have still never seen that movie.
It's a lot of fun.
Okay, I love The Howling, I love American Werewolf. Those would be my favorite. But this is Monster Kid Radio. While I love Chris the Werewolf, the first one that came to mind was a Fred Sears movie, The Werewolf. Two scientists experiment with this guy who's really dead in an auto accident, and he turns into a werewolf. Created a world.
All right, now that we're all here and mic'd up, I have an announcement about Monster Kid Radio. It's coming to an end. No.
What?
Thank God.
I'm shutting it down.
About time.
I'm going to say $5 a month on Patreon.
I'm going back to zombies.
Oh, dear God, no. Dear God, no. It's TM. Jim Norton.
All right.
And can only be used with permission.
So I've got a handful of questions that are going to go into future decks potentially. And some of these have been asked on the show. People have heard them. But I put them all on my Kindle, and I'd like to go through them just to kind of see how they play.
Okay.
So, and like I said, most of these have already been read on the show, but I want to see how they do here. Cool?
Good. What's good? Wait, we didn't do the theme song. The Classic Five.
Wow.
Okay.
I'm behind.
Classic Five.
Then we all take our turns, and he can loop us in.
The Classic Five.
We haven't even started yet. The control's gone.
Boom, boom, boom. The Classic Five.
Just Eric's out of here.
Substitute teacher moment. I'm just going to wait till you guys are done.
Yeah, yep.
Like that always works.
Settle. Okay, let him start talking, then we can get...
You good? You good? Got it out of your system? You good? You good?
Maybe for now. I don't know.
The Classic
Like, tell him to do things.
So I've got some that I want to put into the regular deck, and then some that I want to put into the deep cut deck. So I'm just gonna start going down the list, and maybe you guys can tell me too if it's too deep a cut or if it should go into the core. Yeah. The first one on my list is what is your favorite Mario Bava film, Black Sunday or Black Sabbath? I don't know how we want to do this. Start with Baba Girl.
Go around the table.
Baba Girl.
Black Sunday.
Because of Barbara Steele.
Well, Barbara Steele and I don't know, everything. It's Black Sunday is the perfect movie. It's perfect.
Okay.
Black Sabbath, because it scared the dickens out of me when I was a kid. The witch sequence with the ring. Oh, man.
Well, and plus Karloff is sexier.
And Karloff. No. I want to point out that it was Derek that said that and not me. Just saying.
I'll take either.
Wow.
All right.
What about you, Jeff?
See, I've got Steve and Dominique both by me. I think I'm more afraid of Dominique, so I'm going to say Black Sunday.
Proper answer.
That is a good film. It is a proper, amazing film. What about Kenny?
Black Sabbath, Boris Karloff. That makes it for me.
More Karloff. Always good.
I'm going to wave it off.
Uh-oh.
Too deep for
That's
Tracey.
one strike on Tracey.
Who's keeping score?
There's 10 more.
You, clearly.
Great, 10 more and you're out.
Well, let's see. It's tied right now.
Black Sabbath?
Oh, Black
Okay.
Sabbath pulls in the lead.
Black Sunday, AC/DC.
Oh, I got to go Black Sabbath because that's just a beautiful film.
Okay.
Black Sunday.
Have you seen both of those films?
I've seen Black Sunday.
All right.
What's the tally up to now, Mr. Sullivan?
I was not tallying.
It's tied.
I'm just trying not to look at the person who's going to try to hit me. I'm trying not to look at Dominique while I give this answer. And she's like dodging around. As I say, Black Sabbath, I know she's going to be mad at me, but please forgive me, Dominique.
Well, okay, to be fair, I'm pretty much always mad at you about something, so.
Yeah, my evil eye works better. We're on the same page there.
Round 4.
Wait, Derek, did we get Derek?
These days I'm more in a Black Sunday mood because it's amazing. It was on the cover of the most recent Scary Monsters. And Barbara Steele. Give me about a week. I'll go back to Karloff.
Oh, yeah. I bounce back and forth all the time on it, especially after I see one. If I've seen one, that's my favorite for a while.
Well, and it is kind of a trick question because, they're both Bava films, so they're both, amazing.
That's what I try to do with these questions that are like this or that. I try to find a link, whether it's a word in a title, same director, that sort of thing. So, all right, the next one on my list is, which movie do you prefer, The Leech Woman or The Wasp Woman?
Oh, you're starting with me now?
Well, no, let's keep the order so we don't get confused. So.
Oh yeah. Well, no. He's saying we should start with Dominique and then keep going in the same order so we know who's doing what.
Who is on first?
The Wasp Woman. The Wasp Woman. I'm just going to take this one.
Cool. I'm going to agree. Wasp Woman, just because it's a cooler monster. Although the Leech Woman is creepy.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
They make a great double feature.
And they have,
totally.
But okay, I'm going to go there because they have very different spirits because the Leech Woman is gross and sexist and nasty, and the Wasp Woman is not.
Really? Just because it's about women killing men to become beautiful and stuff like that? It's sexist?
Yeah!
Oh my God, I
know,
never
right?
thought of that.
I just blew Steve's mind.
There are brains all over the table. It's horrible.
This is a brand new shirt, man.
Wasp.
Okay.
I like how Jeff's very minimalist.
Yeah, I'm going Wasp Woman too. Just the cooler monster. Both they kind of blend in my brain. I'm not super overly familiar with them, but I remember the Wasp Woman's kind of cool.
Well, seeing as I did a whole episode of MKR talking about the Wasp Woman, I think it's pretty easy to say that's what I'm going for.
Wasp Woman.
Yeah, and you probably pulled from that a little bit for...
Where's Skeeto?
Yeah, Where's Skeeto, yeah? Maybe?
Maybe subconsciously, but I had other ideas that didn't make it to my design.
So
okay.
I'm going to go Leech Woman because I am terrified of wasps. I turn into a 10-year-old girl and scream and run the other direction, so Leech Woman. And I own it.
Well, I'm going Wasp Woman for two reasons. First of all, I really like the mask. Second of all, Susan Cabot is great. Just flat out.
I'm going with the Leech Woman because it just scared me more.
Okay.
I'm going with the Wasp Woman. To me, it's just a better film. I just enjoy it. I enjoy the whole premise of it, and for the reasons I already mentioned. It's just, yes, I enjoy it. And also,
God disagrees.
And also, I love to see watch this movie with Rich and see him turn into a 10-year-old girl. It's just kind of interesting.
Not a pretty sight at all. Oh, yes.
Yeah, Scott's coming.
I have no interest in seeing Rich turn into, or anybody that I know turn into a 10-year-old screaming girl. Sicko.
Wait, we have a latecomer.
We have a latecomer. You want to sneak Scott in here?
Plan 9 from outer space.
I second that.
Is that how this evening's going to go with you?
Yes, I try to always make sure that I promote the podcast that I'm on.
Okay.
So every answer is going to be Plan 9.
To any question you can ask me.
Someone take his microwave.
Cut him off. I'm going to pick the Leech Woman so I can stick her on Scott. All right. Let's see. The next one on here is, what is your favorite Vincent Price, Roger Corman film?
Gee, ask us an easy one, why don't you?
Okay, I'll go first because I actually have just an off the top of my head answer to this. It's The Haunted Palace.
Haunted Palace?
Yeah.
Darn it, talk longer. Would you? So I can think.
I would be more than happy to tell you all the reasons I love The Haunted Palace. Let me.
It's Lon Chaney Jr., right?
Among other things.
Why do you like it so much?
Actually, for me, the big draw on that one is the art direction. Especially the use of color is so strong in all of the Corman Poe movies, but that one is actually different because he manages to use color and darkness at the same time in a way that he doesn't really do in the other movies. And I think that has largely to do with the fact that it's Lovecraft instead of Poe. It promotes that kind of dark aspect a little more.
Well, Daniel Haller did the production design on that, and then he would go on to do Die Monster Die and then the Dunwich Horror. So, I mean, he was really kind of keyed into that Lovecraft thing.
And it's got a Ronald Stein score, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, which is terrific. I agree with everything she said, but I'm going to pick, just to be different, because that's a great choice. Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to pick The Mask of the Red Death for the color and all the fact that it is a twisted film. It's just twisted, and it's good to see all those people get their just desserts.
The interpretive dance LSD trip.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Tales of Terror. And Rich and I had watched it for the first time within the last couple of years, and that the drinking scene with Vincent Price and Peter Lorre is just amazing, hilarious.
So much fun.
Yeah.
I think the most recent one that I watched, and it's kind of my favorite now, it's so fresh in my memory, and I really, really liked it, was Tomb of Lygia.
Oh, yeah.
I thought it was really creepy. I thought the setting of it was amazing, where they were in some old ruins. I think they were in England when they filmed it, and I thought that was really cool. So I'm going to say Tomb of Lygia.
Mask of the Red Death is the only one I think I've seen, so by default, that's going to get my vote.
Highly recommend The Haunted Palace. Highly recommended.
Yep.
Pass.
That's strike 2 against him, right?
Normally there's no way to lose this game, Scott.
I found a way.
Mitch?
I'm going with Mask of Red Death as well.
For the same reasons, or?
Yeah, it's just, I remember it, I always say this, but it scared the hell out of me when I was a kid. It just made an impression when I first saw it the first time, and it really scared me, and it made an impression. So
I'm going to go with The Raven. I absolutely love that movie.
Oh, good choice.
I've got a Mark Maddox painting on my wall right outside my office, and every day I just go by it. It just there's so much good in that movie. I mean, you've got Peter Lorre and But Hazel Court is in that, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So I don't know. That's been a childhood favorite of mine for as long as I can remember. So, and it just still sticks with me.
Well, I'm going to go with The Pit and the Pendulum because I really like the art design, the design of the film. You've got Vincent Price being driven insane and then snapping and becoming his really vile father. And of course, the last scene, I saw that when I was a kid, where they say, we're going to lock this up and no one will ever come in here again. And no one realizes that Barbara Steele is still alive in the Iron Maiden, and all you see are her eyes wide open in terror, and that just freaked the living hell out of me when I was a kid.
My 8th grade English teacher decided that was a good idea to show to the class.
Awesome.
She had never watched the film before.
Whoops. Awesome.
He just knew it was Edgar Allan Poe, and we were talking about Poe, and oops.
I would also go with The Pit and the Pendulum, mostly for the same reasons.
I was torn between two movies. I'm torn between The Raven and The Mask of the Red Death. It's so tough to go with. But I'm going to go with The Mask of the Red Death just because part of it, Steve stole a lot of my thunder. I guess we're like fellow Steves. We're looking at the color, the red.
And the hypnotism is still working.
And not that he's sitting across to me, and I'm gonna like Dominique and Steve Sullivan just keep staring at me and doing these weird googly eyes and finger rotations. And surprisingly enough, it's like Sullivan's scaring me more than Dominique. I don't know why, but I feel like it's all going to be over for me probably in some kind of Cthulhu-type death because Dominique will do something later tonight and I'll never make it home.
What are you talking about? Which movie are you going to pick?
Not a movie is what he's doing. He's avoiding the question.
We pick one.
I said The Mask of the Red Death for those that were not clear because they were still hoping for their movie. There wasn't even one of the two.
Went off on this random tangent that didn't have anything to do with the movie
Because
at all. But okay.
I'm going to talk about something.
Well, you were the one we said we should all go in the same order every time, right?
Oh, no, I was the one who said it should start with
right, you're right.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did. I said,
Oh, no, that was Chris.
That was Chris.
I was the one who suggested staying in the same order because the way this group is going, if we started staggering it, we'd get lost.
It'd still be in the same order. It would just start with a different person and go around.
It would be in the same order, but if we start with a different person, the way this group is going, we'd get lost.
Strangely, there's only one drink on the table.
We're like, oh my God, what are they on?
Strangely, there's only one drink on the table.
So I picked the Haunted Palace because it's awesome.
See it even out. 2 and 2.
Okay. Which movie? Planet of the Vampires or Planet of the Apes?
Hey, Bava girl.
Yeah, do I even have to answer this? This Planet of the Vampires?
Well, it's lousy podcasting. You can just stare at me.
Actually, I just figured everybody at home would kind of assume by this point, but you know.
You damn dirty apes.
Okay.
You didn't accidentally mix two questions, did you?
Yeah, absolutely not.
Planet of the Apes? What?
Yeah, I think Planet of Vampires is beautiful, but I just don't get it. It's the story. Planet of the Apes, iconic. I love them all. And part of my childhood, I was a Planet of the Apes fan and had all of the stuff that they came out with and had a Planet of the Apes Christmas even. So Planet of the Apes it is.
Nice.
Again, I've never seen Planet of the Vampires, so Planet of the Apes wins by default, but it is an amazing movie. Yeah, we'll go with that.
Well, let's see. Which one had more sequels? A television show has been remade. Yes.
Plan 9 of the Apes.
That's what I was.
You stole my thunder. It was going to be Plan 9 from Outer Space. Thank you.
Planet of the Apes.
Yeah?
Yeah. I love both movies, but I have to go with Planet of the Apes.
Planet of the Apes, one of the earliest movies I remember watching as a kid in the 1970s, and I still watch it about every 2 or 3 years. I go through all 5 movies and the cartoon series and the television series. So, yeah.
Mitch, was Planet of the Apes any influence on you with the makeup?
Well, I was talking to Christopher Page the other day, but one of the first prosthetics I did was a Planet of the Apes, kind of trying to replicate that, and so I made a piece for me, and so I always loved that makeup and that design, and so.
Yeah, cool.
Okay, now, while I realize that there's one movie that is here that on the question that has 5 sequels, a TV show, and a cartoon, there's only one movie that Ridley Scott ripped off terribly when he shot Alien, and that is
Dark Star.
Terror from Beyond Space.
Plan 9 from Outer Space.
the Terror from Plan 9, I don't know. No, it's got to be Planet of the Vampires. Don't get me wrong, I love Planet of the Apes, but Planet of the Vampires just looks so gorgeous, so beautiful.
It's a great.
If you really watch it, you can see the scenes that Ridley Scott lifted. I mean, I know Terror from Beyond Space is, credited also because it's going through the air vents, but he really ripped off Planet of the Vampires for good reason, because that movie is gorgeous.
He totally did.
No, absolutely.
I like both of them.
Have you seen Planet of the Vampires, though?
Yeah, I looked it up last night at like 3 a.m. And that's what I was watching.
Oh my
you had
god!
mentioned it a couple
You
days
seriously
ago.
watched Planet of the Vampires when you were like doped up and weird because you didn't have any sleep? That's like perfect.
Yeah, I mean, it looked really good, and I didn't fall
That is
asleep.
perfect.
He was not doing dope. However,
That's correct.
The one drink on the table is in front of him.
Actually,
What
I
happens
will
at the
attest
bash?
It is in front of Chris McMillan, but it is like diagonally in front of me, so he's not right. I'm not drinking it. Yeah, I'm going with Planet of the Vampires. I almost said Planet 9 from Outer Space.
Yeah, I have not seen Planet of the Vampires yet. We do own it, though, and I've talked to Dominique about this, and she said she understood that I'm going to watch it in the relatively soon. So it's like she's giving me a pass. But Planet of the Apes, I saw growing up so many times, and I think if you count the classic sequels with the remake and then the other ones that have come out, Scott, how many movies would that probably make? Would that make about 9 movies then?
Yeah.
Stop.
You see, the remakes and the sequels are why I went with Planet of the Vampires.
It's true. You're never gonna get that with a box.
Really?
So I'm just saying, Planet of the Apes, Heston. I could just say Charlton Heston and end it there.
Well, and that's why I did my Joshua Kennedy Memorial Charlton Heston impersonation when I was asked. But Planet of the Vampires, it's a good film.
What's that?
Planet of the Vampire Apes.
I would 1,000% be down with that.
I would.
Problem solved. Right?
Okay, 1, 2, 3. There's at least 4 riders at the table.
Right.
Why hasn't this happened yet?
Because someone just said it 2 minutes ago.
It's got to happen.
So, Planet of the Apes.
We assume we're talking about the original Planet of the Apes.
The one with Marky Mark.
Oh, okay. All right. So I think everyone wants to change their answer now.
Wasn't it Marky Mark and the Monkey Bunch?
You know what I'm thinking about. Banana suit.
Oh, God.
Didn't she have banana pants back in the day?
I wish we were going to talk about banana pants other than what he's trying to bring up.
I'm going to let it go. I'm just going to let it hang. That's just for you and me, buddy.
Yes, it was hung.
All right, this one might be for the deep cut. Dr. Goldfoot and the Bikini Machine, or Dr. Goldfoot and the Girl Bombs.
Jeez.
One was directed by Mario Bava. One's a better movie.
Does the Bava one at least look good?
Not really.
The transfers that have made their way over here really don't look that great because it's a thing. What do you think, Dominique?
I'm going to abstain from this one because I'm not going to say anything bad about the Maestro.
I'm going to confess that I cannot remember which is which.
Well, one's a better movie.
Right. I remember one's a better movie, but I don't remember which one it is.
Frankie Avalon.
Is in the original...
Is in the good one.
What is that?
And it's got the Dr. Goldfoot.
In the bikini. That's the one. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
Yeah, this may just be an opportunity for me to bag on girl bombs. I don't know. Have you seen either of them, Jeff?
I've only seen the first one.
Okay.
So it is the better of the two that I've seen.
Yeah.
How do you all not have like the double DVD set of this thing?
Different companies own them.
Really?
Different companies own the
I
rights
thought
to
I
those
had a double
films.
DVD set.
They might at this point, but at this point, they are owned by two different studios.
I think Kino Lorber produced both on Blu-ray.
They might have acquired the rights for it, but
they're out there. I meant to. They have that. They have a sale. They have a sale all the time, and I have not seen these movies, so I can't comment. But I've been meaning to buy them at some point soon.
Spencer Bright, man.
Yeah, I think it's too deep a cut, but I don't, because I can't remember which is which. So, and I think that and there's no monster.
No, that's fine. That's
There's no monsters involved. So.
You know they're robots, right? There is a mitch. That counts.
Never seen either, but I love the titles.
Which title do you like better?
Probably the Bikini Machine.
So which of the first 8 plans was the Bikini Machine?
Pass. Skip him.
Listen to the Plan 9 Minute by Minute podcast.
I've actually seen both within the last 3 or 4 years, so I'm going to go with Bikini Machine.
It's sad, isn't it? Girl bombs should be good.
Should be, but it's not.
You would think with that title it would be, but I got a Bikini Machine.
I've never seen either of these movies completely, but I've seen parts of the Bikini Machine one and parts of the Girl Bombs one, and I like the parts of the Bikini Machine one better.
Well,
That's a 19-year-old boy telling you the girls are prettier in the first one.
Yeah, it's Bikini Machine. It has to be all day. It has to be. It's because Girl Bombs is not great. Girl Bombs was Vincent Price gets to go on vacation to Italy and make a movie when he has some downtime.
Has anyone seen the television special they had to promote? Was that the first one?
I think it was after the first one. It might have been for the second. But yeah, it's like a half-hour kind of bridging thing. It's odd.
Yes.
All right, how about what's your favorite monster plant movie? I know what Scott will pick.
This way.
No, because I'm going to go with Day of the Triffids because I think Triffids are freaking adorable and I love them.
Have you ever made one?
No, it's on my list though.
Ooh, cool.
I'm going to make Triffids.
Plushy Triffids.
Yep.
Awesome. The first thing that sprang into my head was Man-Eater of Hydra. Because I was looking for that earlier today and didn't find it here when I was looking for it. I think I'm going to go with Godzilla vs. Biollante to really take it off of the map. But someone's going to then say something I'm going to like better, and I'm going to have to back off of that.
I would have never gone to that.
I
That's
love
amazing.
Biollante.
Oh, so do I. It's a great film.
Does Island of Death count or Silicate's plants?
No.
Okay.
Well, that was definitive.
The peanut gallery has spoken.
They're not. They're single-celled life forms blown up into giant size.
Raviolis is what they are.
Right, yeah. With chicken noodle soup inside them.
Just shut Jeff down. I mean, jeez.
I love the movie. I'd have voted for that if it was right.
I'm having trouble thinking of one. I mean, I love Little Shop of Horrors, out of your Shop of Horrors, the music.
Oh, isn't that a plant?
Oh,
Monster? The original one, wasn't he?
You're right.
Monster?
Oh, that's what it is.
Thing from Another World. I
Yeah.
changed my answer now.
There you go.
It's really horrible.
Biolante's still cool.
I didn't think about. I'm going to just say one that maybe people don't think about, and it's not really my favorite plant movie exactly, but I really like this, and I want to mention it. It's Attack of the Mushroom People.
Matango! Yeah.
And the thing about that is I saw it when I was very small in San Antonio, Texas. My brothers would wake me up Friday nights to watch Project Terror, which was the hosted shock package channel in San Antonio, Texas. And they woke me up just to scare me. And that movie scared me. And I did not eat mushrooms on my pizza probably for 15 years. Because they convinced me if I did, I would turn into a mushroom person.
Good choice.
I'm having a hard time deciding which Little Shop of Horrors I would choose. I mean, the musical, Howard Ashman and Alan Menken, perfection.
Pop shoe up, Little Shop of Horrors.
Yeah, but there's a lot to be said for Roger Corman's just goofy little movie. That's a lot of fun.
If I remember right, the guy who plays
Seymour Muchnick?
The guy who plays that character in the original Roger Corman film directed Man-Eater of Hydra. I will be furiously checking my phone while Scott answers.
For me, it's boiled down between two movies, and that's Little Shop of Horrors the musical, or Little Shop of Horrors the musical with the original ending. The original ending on that movie is really good. The Blu-ray that came out here recently just had the lost ending restored, where the plants actually take over the world, and it is on the Blu-ray version. And as what Tracy said, Ashman and Menken's music is just phenomenal, and being Disney fans, they've done so much Disney work as well. I can't go against the musical for my pick, and I really think it's the one with the original ending.
Mel Wells. Mel Wells is the actor who played Mushnick in the original Little Shop of Horrors, and he directed Man-Eater of Hydra, also known as Island of the Doomed.
My pick? No, I'm going to go with Invasion of the Body Snatchers. That one's an insidious movie where it sneaks up on you, and it's just... Did I steal your thunder? I'm sorry.
He stole my thunder. I couldn't come up with one, and So, which version though?
The original.
Original? Yeah, the original. Although the 78 version is great and the chance to see Leonard Nimoy in a non-Star Trek role, but I'd have to go with the original.
I saw the 78 version in the theater when the dog comes out and licks its lips. Someone screamed in the theater.
That was probably me.
I think the other two versions after that are best left forgotten. So,
well, there was one in the 90s too.
Yeah, the 90s one was okay. I heard it ran into some budget cutting issues and things like that, and they couldn't finish it the way they wanted to. So, but it's not bad. For those of you who are like me and have yet to buy a Blu-ray player, the original ending of Little Shop of Horrors is also available on DVD.
I thought that was the case because I've seen it.
Yeah, and it is the much better ending, and that was going to be my original answer until Dominique reminded me that one of my favorite alien invasion films happens to have a super carrot in it, drinking the blood of a bunch of people, up in the Arctic. So I gotta go with The Thing from Another World because James Arness is the scariest damn super carrot out there.
Second the motion.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, now I was going to go with The Thing from Another World. I was going to go with Matango. I like the Godzilla versus Biollante. That threw me off. But I'm going to give a love to a hidden gem that nobody's mentioned. Yes, that one. Navy versus the Night Creatures.
I thought you were going with From Hell It Came.
I'm changing my answer. I love the murder tree.
What was it?
Who doesn't love the murder tree?
From Hell It Came to Bonga the murder tree.
Bonga. Well, you could have went with that one too, Chris. I mean, I'm just saying. I want to show some love to the Navy. They took out the Night Creatures. I mean, yes, there's a lot of weirdness to it. It's the special effects, but the story is pretty good until they get to that special effects with the tree. If it would have been a little bit better there, it could have really came off nice.
This film has my favorite Leonard Maltin review. 1. Look at the title. 2. Examine the cast. 3. Be aware that the plot involves carnivorous trees. 4. Don't say you weren't warned.
and the way I responded, don't say you weren't warned that you will not have a good time. And I think I have a movie to add to my best of the worst possible draws with this one.
What's up, Mitch?
No, not too long. It's been maybe a couple years now, but I had watched my copy of Navy versus the Night Monsters, and Mamie Van Doren. So she has a website. So I went out there and found that she was still selling pictures, autographed pictures. I got to get a Mamie Van Doren picture. So I found one, sent my money, and it says, to whom should we, who should be ascribed to? I wrote Mitch, and so I get my picture, and it's autographed to Mike. Love Mamie Van Doren.
Oh.
Well, my brother's name's Mike, so he may get it as a present someday.
So the one that I would pick is, actually the movie itself isn't all about killer plants, but a segment of it is Dr. Terror's House of Horrors. One of the stories in that, there's the vines and all that, yeah.
I just recently watched that too. It holds up.
That is a good one. Let's see, what do we got here? What classic monster movie would you show as part of a double feature with Godzilla, the original?
So you're asking your movie, what movie to accompany Gojira is what you're saying. I'm going to go with the two that battle each other in the Frightful Four. Put King Kong, the original one, and match them together because one led to the process, the other one being done. Without King Kong, there would not have been a Godzilla down the road. Yes, there are other movies involved too, but that was part of the parentage, the heritage that led to the Godzilla. I think putting the two together for a giant monster movie fan would be really nice. Or if you wanted to go with something because of the seriousness of it, I would say also King Kong versus Godzilla, and then everybody leaves happy. And Ben and I actually saw them do that as a double hitter in a movie theater where it was Gojira with King Kong versus Godzilla. And it was fun. It was a fun time.
Gojira and King Kong is a great answer. Okay, so I have two. I would say if you wanted to keep it kaiju giant monsters, the giant claw. And if you wanted a complete change of pace, I would say the Ghost Breakers or Busters. Not Ghostbusters, the comedy one. Ghost Breakers. Yes, because it's a complete different film. It's much more lighthearted, totally different subject.
I still have never seen that movie.
It's a lot of fun.
Okay, I had to think for a second because I was thinking Godzilla versus King Kong, which is a great idea, but I would actually go with a different giant lizard. I'd pair up Gojira with the beast from 20,000 Fathoms.
Ooh, good. I was going to say that. Now I'll have to
I'm
change
sorry.
mine.
Yeah. Well, you've got more time to think than I did. I think that would be a really, really fun one because you could look at the beast and see where they were thinking about going with Godzilla because they were talking about doing it stop motion. It would be. I think it'd be a fun one. I really do. I'm sorry. You were holding out your hand. It was. I thought. Yeah. I'm sorry. I thought you were reaching for the mic, and I didn't want to hog it too much.
Hey, Chris. I was gonna say it may make an interesting triple feature.
Ooh.
Beast, and then Godzilla. And then you got the full.
The progression.
Parentage, heritage.
And then the next day, the giant claw on its own.
3 times.
Oh. That would be chronological too, right? Because Claw comes after those two, and you can see the progression from Gojira to the giant claw, right?
Full day of the giant claw. Some massive edit that just adds so many more selfies to the weather balloon scene.
I'm going to go with King Kong. I agree. I think that'd be an awesome double feature.
I'm going to go with Gorgo. I just had that in my hand today, and I wish I would have bought the disc.
It was too expensive, that model. I've been looking at that model for 3 years now, and every time I see it, it's just a little bit more expensive than I want to pay for it. Gorgo.
Plan 9 in Japanese.
That's perfectly legitimate.
I'm going to go with another surprise reptile, and that would be Valiagwanji.
You can't see it because this is all audio, but we all just pointed at her and smiled.
I like Chris's choice, but for a different reason. I'd like the Beast from 20,000 Fathoms, just so we can see how much better stop-motion animation is than Man in the Suit. I like Godzilla and everything, but I love stop animation, so...
Who doesn't?
Everybody loves stop-mo. All right, I'm going to be really out there.
Yeah.
Here's one that's not Monster Kid Radio. I'd play it with Seven Samurai, because I think that's two amazing Japanese movies from roughly the same era, dealing with really serious human issues, and I think it'd be an amazing double feature. But on Monster Kid Radio, Gojira and Rodan, of course.
Seven Samurai is my favorite movie of all time.
Nice.
It's number 3 for
and if
me.
you haven't seen it yet, Derek, shame on you.
I have not seen it in a very long time, is what I was going to say. I saw it in film school. Back when I thought I was going to be a filmmaker when I grew up. Everybody take a drink. We watched that one and Ron back to back.
Yeah.
That's a good
All right. I've had plenty of time to think now.
Actually, I'm going to go completely off the rails. I would pair Gojira and the giant Gila monster. Well, here's my thing.
That is completely off the rails.
I came to Gojira really late, so for me, it's all about nukes and like children crying, and it's just a super heavy movie for me. And I actually was like screwed up for the rest of the day after I saw it. So for me, it's like, okay, you watch Gojira first, you get super heavy, you start drinking, and then you watch the giant Gila monster, and you're just like, woo!
Don't they both have train wrecks too? So there's even like a theme there.
I like it.
Exactly. And you unwind, you decompress with the giant Gila monster.
There you go.
I don't know what I would pick. I felt like I was on a path to finding something, and then that happened. Kong would be a good one. Gorgo's good. Gorgo's a good pick.
You know you want to say it, Derek. Say Reptilicus. Say it.
I don't want to say Reptilicus.
Frankenstein conquers the world.
Oh my god, right? Right?
Or the Gargantuous.
You know what? Gamera. The original Gamera.
All right, there we go.
Let's see. Let's see. If you could live inside any classic monster movie, which one would it be?
Cabinet of Dr. Caligari.
Really?
Come on, you know how screwed up I am.
Dude, I'm just thinking, most of Cabinet of Dr. Caligari is kind of like unreliable narrator, and it's really all just a bunch of people in an asylum wandering around.
Yeah.
Okay. Dominique is in.
I can't believe I have to explain this to somebody who's known me for years, but okay.
If I could be one of the heroes and not one of the guys on the log, I'd take King Kong.
One of the guys on the log. If you could live inside any classic monster movie, what would it be?
Okay. If I can be a villain, I want to be in any of the Hammer Vampire series.
Whatever you want.
If we get to be a villain, I get to be Baron Frankenstein, man.
You totally do.
Yeah.
I'm with that.
Fantastic.
Well, speaking of Baron Frankenstein, it'd have to be a Hammer film just so I could be in the world of Christopher Lee, Peter Cushing, and all the Hammer girls. I don't know what one particularly.
The Vampire Lovers, maybe?
Yeah, that
one. I'm going to say Destroy All Monsters, because I think it'd be cool to live in Japan in the 60s. I think it'd be cool to be in a place where you got all the monsters just like on an island. You can watch them, see what they're doing. I know it's a pain when they get loose and all the alien stuff, but if you're in the right place, the right time, you probably wouldn't even notice it, and then you just keep on living in 60s Japan. So I think Destroy All Monsters.
There you go.
I'm going to go with the Wolfman, because who wouldn't want to go to the Festival of the New Wine?
Good choice.
Also, Lon Chaney Jr. was really hot back in the day.
Yes. We'll go with that, too.
Well, my choice, I would definitely not survive, but what a way to go. Twins of Evil.
I'm really blanking on this. I think I need more time, so I'm going to pass right now.
Well, this doesn't count for you because you live in the Mimiverse anyway.
I'm not going to go with any particular movie, but I would go with anything in the Godzilla range, and I'd want to be the owner of a construction company. I would be the richest man on the planet.
Yeah.
That's what the guy at Happy Land thought, too, in Godzilla vs. the Thing.
As long as you're not in the insurance business, I think you'll be fine.
Okay, Seventh Voyage of Sinbad. Just all that magic, all that.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's actually the one I answered. When you asked me this on the show, that was my answer, I think.
or on the Cyclops spit.
Right now.
Yeah, it's one of those places where I probably wouldn't survive either, but I want to be on the space station when the green slime show up. You go, you blow up the asteroid, and I don't know where on that spinning wheel in space they store all that booze, but it's one hell of a party until the green slime show up. And, I mean, all the costumes and space. And you get to play a great theme song. Green slime. You don't get away with talking about green slime without singing green slime.
You see, like, I was thinking really hard about thinking of something that I would survive, and then I would have fun. And then somebody mentioned Godzilla, so I started thinking of Final Wars, which is way out of the zone. But I'm going to go with Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah. That's true.
Okay. I was going to be like Mitch and go with Sinbad. And a lot of these other ones are great. But after we talked about it earlier, what better place to be than in the same world as Dr. Goldfoot and the Bikini Machine? I'm just saying. And it also has a great song, Chris. And if I'm going to die, I'm dying with a smile.
Follow that one, buddy.
It would be easy to be all like, I love the Hammer stuff for the Universal Worlds, but I'm going to go a little outside. I'm going to talk, this is a movie that I covered on the show with Rod Barnett. It's called Wild Wild Planet. I love the aesthetic, the look, the funkiness of that world. I love the little car things driving around the space stations and everything else. I love that there's so many little Euro spy-ish type touches to this Italian science fiction movie. There's 4 films in the series, so there's lots of places to explore. So yeah.
The Green Slime is actually considered like the adjunct 5th film in that series,
it might be in the same world, but yeah, I mean, But yeah, Wild Wild Planet for me. I like that one a lot.
Wild, Derek. Wild.
He's regretting the next question. You can already tell.
This came up, so I thought, okay, let's try this one. What is your favorite non-lawn werewolf film?
I am going to bow out of this one, and I will take the abuse because I don't like werewolf movies.
Really? Not at all? Nope. Not even the Nashi ones?
Nope.
Lon Chaney came up earlier, so I thought, let's throw that one out.
Now, here's my dilemma. Because they're all Nashi films, they have like 500,000 titles to them. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to pick the one I think is the right one, which is Werewolf Shadow, which is, I know, among my top 2 or 3 Nashi werewolf films. And I think that's the right one, but I wouldn't swear. So Werewolf Shadow, Paul Nashi. Derek's checking, just to be sure.
I'm just making sure I don't know what it is, so.
I've got to go more modern. The Howling, American Werewolf in London, when those two came out, it was about the same time. And I just think Howling I like it much better than American Werewolf in London. I'm going to say The Howling.
I grew up with Curse of the Werewolf, and I love the werewolf design. I don't think there's enough werewolf in that movie. It takes a lot of time for him to get on, and he goes pretty quick. So I like the design of that one. It's a little bit out of the range of Monster Kid Radio, and it's just more of a nostalgia favorite, though it doesn't hold up as well. But I like The Boy Who Cried Werewolf. And then... like Jeff, I have a heart for those 80s ones. I was 16, 17, and I was able to go to R-rated movies and was able to see The Howling, and I love The Howling too. So I named 3, but...
I'm going to go with Curse of the Werewolf as well because Oliver Reed. I mean, charismatic all over the place. And also a little shout out to What We Do in the Shadows because they're werewolves, not swearwolves.
Really, the first one that popped into my mind is Oliver Reed and Curse of the Werewolf. I actually like that movie better than a lot of the lawn werewolf movies.
I agree with the Curse of the Werewolf. That one's a pretty strong film. I really enjoy that one. But another one I want to revisit that's been on my mind lately is Wolf with Jack Nicholson. I want to see that one again. I saw it originally, and I do want to see it again. It's been kind of percolating.
I just introduced Carla to this a couple weeks ago, so I'm going to go with the Monster Squad.
How'd it go over?
She loved it. Yeah, she loved it.
Good. Scott's never seen that movie.
I've still never seen that movie.
It's a lot of fun.
It's good. Okay, I love The Howling, and I love American Werewolf in London, and those would be my pick, but this is Monster Kid Radio. And while I love Curse of the Werewolf, the first one that came to mind was a Fred Sears movie, The Werewolf. 2 scientists experiment with this guy who's nearly dead in an auto accident, and he turns into a werewolf. Makes no sense, but it's enjoyable. It's really pretty well paced, and it's fun. Like I said, I love Curse of the Werewolf. I just wanted to go a little outside.
I'm going to go with the first Universal Werewolf movie, which is Werewolf of London. That doesn't star Lon Chaney Jr., and it was a lot less commercially successful, but that would be my pick.
All right, I was going to go with The Werewolf of London, just because it's fitting the classic thing. But really, if I was to go by my heart and actually pick the werewolf movie I like of all the werewolf movies, doesn't matter where Lon's in it or not, for me, it's always been an American Werewolf in London. It just, I saw it at the right time, and it's just, I still love it. I still love the special effects. I mean, it's just amazing. The transformation, not cutaway scene. It's also, it was totally, when I saw one of being on all fours, it just totally threw me off because I was so used to just like the Wolfman, but this is the full wolf version. And it's just, I don't know, I just love that movie.
No love for I Was a Teenage Werewolf? Come on, man.
I haven't seen it.
I'm failing again.
No, you're not failing.
No, I'm not failing you at all.
Susan Hart's failing me.
Susan Hart has got the rights to that locked up and won't let it go. The last question on here. Who is on your Mount Rushmore of monsters?
Like the actual monsters?
Monsters.
Phantom of the Opera, The Mummy.
Which one? Karloff?
Karloff. Prudence Hyman from The Gorgon. And Mothra.
Wow. It's a nice mix. I like it.
Mine would probably be the standard Universal monsters, but what if one was King Kong and he was giant, and then the other? What if they were actually life size, and then we'd had King Kong, and then let's say Wolfman, Lon Chaney, Boris Karloff, Frankenstein, and Bela Lugosi, Dracula.
King Kong, Ymir from 20 Million Miles to Earth, Cyclops from Seven Voyages of Sinbad, and then the fourth one, Talos from Jason and the Argonauts.
Wow, I like that.
Well, I'm going to go with Karloff's Frankenstein and The Bride. Get some women in there. Gilman. And then, yeah, probably Lugosi's Dracula.
The which one? I'm sorry.
Lugosi's Dracula.
So for Mitch, it's the moon zombie, the bat, and the giant spider.
No, it's just going to go straight across Universals. You know, Karloff's Frankenstein, Karloff's Mummy, Bela Lugosi's Dracula, and then Lon Chaney Jr.'s Wolfman, I mean.
I'm going to go with Lon Chaney Sr. as the Phantom. I'm going to go with Karloff as the Mummy. Christopher Lee as Count Dracula. And I'm going to go with the Gillman.
Well, I was trying to figure out how to put one of the children of the Hydra's teeth up there without it just being a nondescript skull. Because then you could think it's the Screaming Skull or something. So I'm gonna
Nothing wrong with that.
On the Mount Rushmore. But number one would be the Gillman. James Arness as the Thing from Another World. The Bride of Frankenstein. And Lon Chaney's Wolfman.
Gojira, King Caesar, Rodan, and Mothra.
King Caesar, huh?
Just mouth that I'm King Caesar because I'm in shock that I'm his dad. So, but that's his list. That's his mountain.
No, I like it.
I like it too. He just threw me for a loop.
I don't know if you knew this, but I'm like the world's biggest Kaiju Godzilla fan. Steve, I love that. That's great.
I thought that was me.
Yeah, I thought it was Ben. I don't know. Ben turned me on to Godzilla. I didn't know anything about Godzilla until my son talked to me about it.
Everything I needed to learn about Godzilla, I learned from my son.
Okay, so I think the first head of the mountain should be no shock to anybody. Godzilla, by far. And then I'd have the Thing from Another World because he's just so great. King Kong has to be there. And then the Creature from the Black Lagoon. And my fifth one, because everybody knows there's a fifth head, it's the Invisible Man. You know, which was easy for them to do, and it's always there.
You took my joke, man.
Well, that's what happens when you wait to the end.
Mine would be Carl Laemmle Jr., Ray Harryhausen.
Interesting.
James Whale. But I'm having trouble coming up with a fourth one. But I would rather do the ones behind the scenes that brought us all of this stuff than the people that were on the screen.
Terrence Fisher.
Jack Arnold.
Terrence Fisher would be a good one.
What about
yeah.
Ashira Honda?
What about
Yeah.
Pierce?
Jack Pierce would be another good one.
Pierce, yeah.
Yeah.
So they're on the other side.
Yeah.
I want Nosferatu on mine. I really want Max Schreck on there somewhere. And then the Gill Man, of course.
Uh-oh. Something's coming.
Say it.
Inspector Clay? Yeah, Inspector Clay.
Listen to the Plan 9 minute-by-minute podcast, please.
I'm being serious. I think that would be interesting. A neat and mixed, prestige. Not so much.
Well, then, in that same vein, Ed Wood would be on mine.
I don't know who my fourth would be. I was going to be funny and say, like, the Master, but no.
Well, okay. Does Peter Cushing's Baron Frankenstein count as a monster?
Cushing as a monster, probably.
Vincent Price?
No, it'd probably be like a Dr. Frankenstein.
Like in House of Wax?
Baron Frankenstein. Baron Frankenstein. We have been going for an hour and a half, and I've been having fun, but I'm out of my new questions, and I feel like some of us are starting to fade a little bit, so maybe kind of bring this to a close. That brings us to the end of this episode of Monster Kid Radio. Finally, I am recording this at 10:14 a.m. on Thursday morning. This episode should have been released at least 8 hours ago, if not longer than that. Just took a lot of work to edit that whole Classic 5 thing. And that was a lot of fun, don't get me wrong, but it was a lot of work. So I apologize for this being a little late. I do want to answer a couple of things that came up during the big congratulations on 500 episodes thing. First of all, I think I've mentioned this on the stream, and I may have mentioned it here on the show. If I haven't, I'll mention it now. I'll explain it now. The reason I was doing 2 episodes a week at the very beginning of the show was I wanted to, forgive me, artificially increase my numbers. I really wanted to get more episodes under my belt because I felt like I had lost a little bit of traction because I had stopped Mail Order Zombie. I was doing the monthly show with Downplace, but I didn't do Monster Kid Radio. So I wanted to get my numbers up, kind of beef them up a little bit. The content itself didn't change. I did a regular recording. I just cut it in half and put it out on a Tuesday and a Thursday before finally just saying, you know what, this is dumb. Let's just put it out on Thursday and call it good. Also, over the years, we've tried a couple of different things here on the show. When it comes to the podcast releasing, there was a period of time where I stopped numbering the episodes. I think it was in the triple digits, but I felt like maybe if an episode or a podcast had so many episodes, it would be intimidating for somebody to come in brand new to discover the show or check out the show. So instead of putting podcast numbers, I just put the date on them. But I didn't see any change in download numbers or interactions on Facebook or anything like that. So yeah, I just said whatever and went back to numbering the episodes. I kept the numbering in place. In fact, if you look at the old file numbers, almost got through this without making any mistakes. I'm just going to let this go out raw. If you go back and you look at the old file names for those episodes in particular, they still say what episode number it is. If you want to call in and leave any feedback for the show about this episode or any of the previous 499 episodes, you can always email me at monsterkidradio@gmail.com, or you can call the voicemail line at 503-479-5657. That's 503-479-5MKR. That information can be found on our website over at monsterkidradio.net, where you can find a link to Kenny's Letterboxd database. Is that what you call it, a database? Letterboxd is Letterboxd without the letter E in there. You just go over there and look up Monster Kid Radio, and you can see all the hard work that Kenny's been doing over the years, where he goes through and lists every single movie that's ever been covered here on the show, and you can even find out who the guest was, I believe. He also has archived the 1951 Down Place episodes, and I think he even stuck in the Creature Connection episodes that we did, again, way back in the day. So go check that out if you're interested in seeing everything that we've covered in the past. Big thanks to Kenny for that. Big thanks to Kenny and Mark for their segments this week. You can follow what Mark's up to on his podcast by looking up the Monster Study Group at anchor.fm. I'm stoked that he wants to stick around through Ultraman 80 over at the Beta Capsule reviews that he does, which means I guess I got to keep producing the show until he gets to Ultraman 80, which is fine by me because I'm having a blast doing the show. And yeah, I'm not going to get sick of you anytime soon, Mark. You're welcome to keep doing the Beta Capsule reviews as long as you're able and willing, my friend. Really appreciate it. Of course, I appreciate all the other contributors we've had over the years here on the show, whether that was Jeff with the Weird Wednesday report, I miss that, man. You're always welcome back on the show. I hope you know that. Dr. Tongue, Professor Green. Yeah, Jerry Green. I didn't sleep last night because I've been working on this show. Listeners, I'm just going to go ahead and wrap up here. There are plenty of other comments to make about the messages that were left for me. I just want to sum everything up by saying thank you so much for all of your support over the years here at Monster Kid Radio. I have no plans on stopping anytime soon. So, yeah, we're in it for the long haul, gang. Again, I appreciate everything that you've done for me. I wouldn't be able to do this episode or this podcast without you guys and gals backing me up with, like I said at the top of the show, sharing the posts and retweeting tweets, maybe through Patreon, or just listening to the show, sending me feedback, whatever. And if we ever do get an opportunity to meet up again in person at a Monster Bash or meet up for the first time, I'll bust out that Classic 5 deck and we'll play a very unorganized game of Classic 5, and I might even record it, and this time do it a little bit better so it doesn't take an all-nighter to edit the whole thing. Okay, what's coming up next week on the show? I have no idea. I've got nothing in the can. I've got nothing scheduled. There will be an episode, but I have a feeling I might be taking it a little easier next week to kind of make up for the fact that I didn't take it very easy this week. So, if you have any specific questions you want me to answer about Monster Kid Radio or me and my Monster Kiddom or my writing, anything, we'll do an Ask D Anything session. But beyond that, I don't know what we're doing. If you have any suggestions, call it in or shoot me an email or contact me on Facebook or Twitter or whatever. In the meantime, remember that Monster Kid Radio is a registered service mark of Monster Kid Radio LLC. All original content of Monster Kid Radio by Monster Kid Radio LLC is licensed under a Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial No Derivatives 3.0 unported license. My name is Derek M. Cook. I will talk to everybody next week. And I'm going to steal what Jeff said in his voicemail. Have fun, do good, and watch monster movies.